Some quick thoughts about the weapons in Halo Infinite. The battle rifle is probably the best battle rifle we've had since Halo 3. Its time to kill is much more similar to Halo 2 and 3 than it is to Halo 4 and 5, which makes it a bit more in line with older style of gameplay. Hence, I think that's why many people find it very satisfying. The Sidekick, or the new pistol, I think is the best weapon for medium to short range. It's about as good as the Halo 1 pistol without it being, well, absolutely unbalanced. The Ravager was a really great weapon. It left these pools of damaging, like, red stuff on the ground, and I think that's going to be really important for objective-based games. We've mostly done Slayer in the new Halo Infinite betas, but it'll be really interesting to see how the Ravager comes into play. It shoots 3 projectiles, each of them do actually quite a bit of damage. The Needler is always the weird, awkward child of the Halo sandbox. The Needler tracks well, does really great damage. I really wish there was a better Super Combine sound. That's when you get enough Needler shots that someone blows up. And I kind of wish it was slightly buffed, maybe slightly faster projectiles, slightly faster homing, just ever so slight buff. Not too much where it just becomes a weapon of mass destruction, but enough for people to want to actually use it. The Commando. To me, the Commando is one of the newest, most interesting assault rifle precision weapon hybrids, where it does insta-kills on headshots, but it has the recoil of an assault rifle. I think it's actually a really great new addition to the sandbox, and it fills in this weird hybrid niche that I didn't know was needed. It also has a small clip size and a really small reticle, so it actually makes it kind of hard to use it in close range. It has the high recoil, so it makes it hard to use it in long range. I think it's a really good weapon with a high skill ceiling. The assault rifle. For me, the assault rifle is finally useful. It does good damage. It actually outcompetes the battle rifle in close range, which I think it really should. Assault rifles really shouldn't be outdone by a precision weapon in close range. So I actually think the assault rifle is exactly where it needs to be. It does great damage close to medium range. The sniper rifle feels great. I actually really like the sounds of it. I think it's actually in a good spot. There's not really much to say about it. It plays really similarly to the previous sniper rifles. It's got great precision, and Halo's hitboxes are as unforgiving as ever. The rocket launcher, or the Spanker. It goes boom. It goes big boom. It kills lots of people. It's pretty great. The Pulse Carbine. The Pulse Carbine is a really strange new weapon. It's a really interesting concept because it shoots bolts of plasma that kind of home in on your enemies. It's kind of difficult to use at this point, but it does really good damage, and I can really see this being useful in the single-player campaign, where you have these big enemies that have huge shields and are really bullet spongy. For PvP, however, the homing is a bit odd, and it sometimes feels like you don't really need to have the reticle on red in order to hit, and you kind of have to like finagle it to get the most damage out of it. A little strange. Currently, most of the Covenant weapons can be vented without having them overheat. So in the past, they would overheat. Currently, you can actually press the reload button to essentially prevent them from overheating. I actually kind of like this change because people weren't really using the plasma weapons that much, and I think it's because of the overheating mechanic. It just doesn't feel natural to many people. The plasma rifle, I honestly don't know what to think about it. I really didn't like the damage out of it. I really didn't like the homing, but I mean, it worked the way it used to work. You know, you charge it up, you shoot it, it takes away people's shields. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. There's something about it that doesn't quite feel right, and I really didn't like the model. It kind of looked like a squirt gun, in my opinion. The Bulldog, or the shotgun. I find the spread of this shotgun really strange, and the fact that it takes 2 shots to kill is a bit bothersome for me. The old shotgun at certain ranges would be an insta-kill, but maybe it's because they're trying to bring both of those shotguns into the sandbox. So I'm guessing that they'll try to bring the old shotgun and kind of have this shotgun fill in a niche where it sort of has a bit higher range than the old shotgun, but still does good amount of damage at higher range. The only thing is that the spread of the shotgun's a bit vague and a bit weird. I think it really needs some tuning, but overall it sounds great and it kind of feels good to use. I just wish it did a bit more damage, which is probably just me being used to the old shotgun. The hammer needs more physics, and the windup is way too large. I feel like it doesn't also hit when the hammer hits the ground, so the animation is not really in line with when you do damage. It's very strange. I'm not really sure what's going on there. It could have been lag, but it's a bit weird. I kind of really was hoping for more pushback from it, more physics from it. I really hope they add that to the hammer in the future. The Heatwave, I love this thing. It's new. It's interesting. It has the 2 different firing modes. I think Halo needs more of these kinds of weapons in its sandbox, and it's very satisfying to use. I can easily see someone using this in an objective-based game where everyone's huddled up in a room and just shooting widespread bullets that just bounce off the walls and instantly murder many people. I think it's great. The skewer, super fun to use. I really, really wish, though, that I would have Half-Life 2 style, like stabbing into the wall physics. They need to add that into this weapon. It's an insta-kill, but it is really hard to aim with it. So I think it's going to be something that people use to sort of deny somebody with a power weapon. Or I'm really curious how this works against vehicles. I think that's when the skewer might really shine. Overall, I'm really happy with the current sandbox of Halo Infinite weapons. I know there's a lot more, and I really hope in the next technical previews they show us, because I'm liking where the direction is going in the Halo sandbox.